This is what people see if they go past me in the store. They don't see me wearing this in the street because I don't wear a mask in the fucking street. No one comments on this either. You just tell them what it's like. I can wear that shirt in the background. No one comments, just like whatever. Maybe that's just New York. So let's talk about the collapse of the left. All those liberals who are now fascists. Isn't that nuts? All the whole left has descended into fanatical, authoritarian fascists. And how does this happen? I am going to make an argument that in part this is about value system collapse, and it's basically the liberals, embracing their new religion of science, full on. And to understand value systems, I use something called spiral dynamics. And spiral dynamics is a theory of how human values adapt to the environment. And within spiral dynamics is the idea that we go through different stages. So our value systems evolve in stages, personally and as societies, and we can go forward, evolve forward, or we can, if the conditions change, we can actually devolve and go backwards. And there's a whole bunch of stages. At each stage will transcend and include all the ones before. I'm not going to go into a whole thing of spiral dynamics. I actually did it years and years ago, and then I had to keep on taking down and editing videos because YouTube started throwing them off. But within spiral dynamics, we have these three stages in the middle: blue, orange, and green. So the blue stage is where we started to see like religions develop. So we're saying like, 5,000 years ago plus is when we see this. And with blue, we have people value the one true way. So that can be they're Jewish or Islam or whatever, but there's one true way. And people at blue are community focused, but they're not focused on everyone in the world. They're focused on their tribe. So they believe that there's a set of rules that everyone has to follow, and you have to you take care of everyone in your tribe according to those rules. And this is basically religion. It's taken as a matter of faith. And then what happened around the time of the Enlightenment is we started to see cracks in this blue value system, because before the Enlightenment, you really didn't see people go past blue. We had the development of orange, and orange was where people were saying, enough of this conformity to all this religious crap. We need to be able to develop ourselves. And that's where you start seeing the development of personal rights. So that's all the Enlightenment, the American Revolution, the freedom of speech, of expression, and assembly. That's all orange. So orange goes from being focused on orange goes from the blue's focus on the group to now the focus on the individual. And we see this back and forth in stages where this focus on the group individual goes back and forth. The problem with orange is by focusing so much on the individual, you get people who will only care about their own personal wealth or power, and they don't really care so much about what it does to others. However, still, orange will transcend and include blue. So you can have someone who's a Christian, yet they will adopt many capitalistic values or believe in freedom of free speech, for example. So it's not that totally contradictory. And by the way, no one is all on just one of these levels. People can kind of blob around where in terms of religion, they're at blue, but in terms of economics, they're at orange. So most people in the Western world, like in the United States, are at blue, orange. Typically conservatives are right there in the middle of orange. And then we have the next value system level is green. And green didn't really become a big thing probably until the 1960s. Not that there weren't people at green before, but that's really where you saw a cultural revolution of people advancing to this level of value system. So green advances from orange, so it's going from individual to group focus. So green is focused on the group. But unlike blue, which is focused on just those few true believers of the one true way. Green is focused on everyone. So Green wants, to see better things for everyone in the country, or people of different races, or people of different religions. It's much more global. Green also is where you have these ideas of, I have my truth and you have your truth and we can honor each other's truth. Like, Green wants to be accepting of many different people and many different ideas, whereas Blue wants to enforce the belief in the one true way onto everyone. So although Blue and Green are both group focused, there's differences between them. And Green, we can say, is definitely more advanced because you have to go through Blue to orange and then finally to Green. There's just a lot more depth with Green. It's so much more inclusive. Of course, we can see downsides to this. Green is where you start having these obsessions with identity politics, and everyone cares about the race or the gays or whatever, or because there is this drive to be inclusive of everyone and to believe that all sides are valid, and this can go to ridiculous lengths where you can start having liberals want to defend Islam, which is a completely insane, ridiculous, oppressive system. So there can be some blinding at Green and trying to be so inclusive with everyone. So when it comes to the left wing, the more radical leftists in the Western world, not United States, if you think about more like socialist types, anti-capitalist types, where they primarily have been at is Green. I would say a caveat to that is, if you go back 100 years to the Russian Revolution, you would see that actually the liberals, the Marxists, they are, I don't not the liberals of the Russian Revolution, but the Marxists, the Bolsheviks, those types of people, they were really embracing Blue because they were believing in the one true way of the working class and obedience to the party of the working class. So these things definitely change, over time. So what happened with this coronavirus nonsense? Well, we have all these liberals who are supposed to care about everyone, who are supposed to want to be inclusive and all this shit. They go straight to full-head authoritarianism. Like, they are fucking fascists and nuts as fuck. Now, where on this Green level do you see fascism and obedience to authority? You really don't. It's actually at the orange level where people said, enough is enough. We have personal rights, the right to express ourselves, freedom of speech, freedom of assembly, freedom to practice whatever religion, blah, 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 blah. And Green is supposed to say, okay, now it's great that you took care of these personal rights and self-expression, but now we need to focus back on the group because you people at Orange are so focused on self-expression that you really and power and wealth accumulation, they don't care what it's doing to everyone else. So Green should include that. But now all of a sudden these liberals, they don't. So what happened is the left has been so indoctrinated in this system of science, or we can actually say most of the Western world has taken science as the new religion. I mean, even if someone says they're Jewish or a Christian or whatever, they believe on a fundamental religious level what they are told is science is the truth. And more specifically, not actual science, whatever the TV tells them is science, what officials say is science. Like, that's their new religion. So when all of these so-called, leftists, liberals, whatever, were told, you need to be scared of a virus, they went straight back to their blue level belief in science, and they threw off all their green values. They threw away their orange values, at least like true libertarians. Like, they believe in personal rights. Like, people who are strongly at orange, they're fighting against this. The liberals who weren't paying so much attention to personal rights and responsibility, they went all the way down to blue to religion. anyone who's wearing the mask and doing all this other nonsense, this is a totally insane religion. There's no science behind any of this social distancing, mask, and the real way that you can tell that this is insane religion is what have insane religions done throughout all of history. Like, what's the basis of being a leader of an insane religion, creating one of these systems? Is, well, you tell people that there is a danger, there is some supernatural threat. Like, a good example would be, you go back to ancient Egypt, and some piece of shit who does nothing, creates nothing, has no contribution to society whatsoever, is a complete parasite, tells everyone else, you need me or else the sun isn't going to come back up. Build a pyramid for me. So society wastes all this effort on building pyramids. Maybe Egypt could have done something if instead of building fucking pyramids, they invested in science and arts and actually advancing their civilization instead of building some worthless stone monument. Okay, well, but it's that idea. Like, there's this threat. Do this for me, but the threat isn't real. And you can see the same thing with certain religions. Do this for me or else you're going to burn in hell forever, whatever. Okay. So with the advance of science, these old religions, they're just not as relevant anymore to many people. So they're not good for control. And the other thing is, like, how much money are you going to make off of Christianity? Like really? You have people who are against Christianity complaining about the Catholic Church or whatever, and yeah, there's a whole history of corruption and indulgences or whatever, but how much money is the Pope really going to bring in today's world? Like, so besides it not being in a form that's relevant to people, it's not going to be a really big moneymaker. But this science crap, telling people just believe whatever they're told is science, that's a really big moneymaker. So this viral threat, that's not going away. And of course, there is no viral threat. Humanity isn't going to be destroyed by a pandemic. But if you just want to control people, you say, well, there's this constant fear of viruses. We have to do all this shit. And then every year or 2 years, they can just roll out another virus. And here you control people. You get all their money for vaccines or bogus medical treatments. You totally destroy the economy, so now they are beholden upon you to do whatever you tell them to. It's a fucking tyranny control grid. But the whole basis is religion. So all of these liberals who are supposed to care about everyone in the world and are supposed to be so inclusive of everyone, they're all hiding at home, wearing their fucking masks and their fucking gloves, demanding that the government have authoritarian control over everyone else. These people are fucking sick. And then this whole thing is totally crazy. I'm just spending so much time on Facebook looking at the insanity, and you can't stop talking about it, because as much as you see something that's totally crazy and lunatic and you discuss it, then something new happens that's just as lunatic. So there's no end. Okay, that's it. Bye.